Hello and welcome to this webinar, An Introduction to LCS Continuing Professional Development. My name is Simon Elias, I'm Director of the LCS, and the purpose of this session is to introduce you to LCS Continuous Professional Development and looking at the various components, such as its underlying model, how it operates, its benefits and how it can be accessed. One thought to be going on without continuous personal development, you are now all that you will ever become. Okay, the agenda today is going to be looking at these following items: an introduction, CPD definition and benefits, a deep dive into the unique model that underlies LCS Continuous Professional Development, the three core elements that really drive the model. We'll talk about endorsing and improving plans and progress checks. We'll examine the CPD web platform on which the whole thing stands, and then talk about suitability, benefits, and how you register. Okay, to just introduce the topic, I think most people will be familiar with CPD. It's widespread among many trades and professions in all societies, really. In the UK alone, we think there are at least 400 CPD schemes. But in our research, there was no real CPD for lean or continuous improvement. So a gap there that we thought was important to fill. And obviously from an LCS point of view, it fitted into our whole ethos, our qualifications structure. And our challenge was to create something that was inherently lean and follow the core principles under which the LCS is built. We piloted the model we developed for a year or so with one of our accredited organizations, NHS Blood and Transplant, and then designed a delivery model which we wanted to be low cost, simple to operate and time efficient for users, self-managed and directed, and clearly delivering value and benefits for those people who register. So that's how we've developed the CPD platform. First of all, what is continual professional development? Broadly, it's a commitment towards enhancing of personal skills and proficiency throughout your career. It's the process of logging and documenting skills, knowledge and experience that you gain formally and informally as you work. That's a fairly standard definition of what CPD is. Importantly, it's about combining routes to competency development, such as not just training in workshops, but research, projects, practice, communication, teaching, writing, a whole range of activities that combine to form your competency. Importantly, CPD is self-directed, driven by the practitioner. So it's important that it's not something that's done to you. And the key benefits of CPD are that qualifications don't become outdated because you're constantly refreshing your competency. It signals your competency is relevant and growing and well practiced to your community and the business world. And hopefully competence improvement becomes a conscious and proactive activity that's continuous. So that's continuous professional development in terms of its definition. Okay, now let's turn to the LCS Continuous Professional Development Model. We built the CPD model around PDCA, not surprisingly. Plan, Do, Check, Act is the classic continuous improvement cycle that we all know. For us, it was important that it had its roots in this sort of thinking, and it was a logical path to follow. With our model, it starts with plan. So an individual needs to put together a plan in which they identify their strengths, their gaps, their goals, their targets, and their countermeasures for their period ahead, their CPD cycle ahead. And importantly, we've decided to use an A3 format for that. It's got a lot of advantages in terms of succinctness. It clearly is something that we're familiar with, and it helps hone A3 use as well. So you develop an A3 plan which sets out your developments for a specific period of time, nominally 1 year, but it could be less, it could be more. Once you've got your plan, you start doing things. These are activities to achieve the countermeasures that you've identified in the plan. Now, importantly, these activities are not just about courses and knowledge, it's about practice, it's about learning, it's about communicating, teaching, mentoring. So within the LCS model is a multifaceted competency notion that you need to develop all these three elements if you're going to fully improve your overall competence. And within our model, reflection is an important underlying part of everything we do. Whatever we do, whatever we learn, we reflect on it and understand what have we learned from it, what do we do different in the future. The third part of the PDCA model is the check stage, and this is where the CPD practitioner will reflect on what they've achieved so far and make an assessment as to how far they've actually moved to achieving their goals in their plan. This is undertaken on a periodic basis, maybe every 3 or 4 months. And once you've checked and reflected, you can then act and essentially adjust your plan, maybe close off the plan and start a new one if you've achieved all you wish to achieve, and then disseminate your learning in different ways. So that's the underlying model behind LCS CPD. Some key points about the model. As I've said, it's inherently lean, built around PDCA. That's important, I think. The progress that you make is based on evidence of what you've done. It's not based on arbitrary targets or figures or number of hours you've attended courses or conferences. So it's got some evidence-based progress assessment. Your activities are multifaceted. They're both practicing, learning, and communicating. It's not just about educational activities. Importantly, it's self-directed, self-managed. You must want to do this. No one's going to force you. It's going to be something you feel adds benefit to your learning and your overall competency. And the other important point is that the LCS endorses plans and progress. It's not just a question of setting off and having no input. We'll check that what you've delivered and developed is sensible and robust. So there's some element of control as to what's being produced. The CPD model has 3 core elements that really drive it forward. Those being the A3 plan, the activity log, and the progress check record. Now, the A3 plan is clearly the vehicle to plan your development over the cycle. The activity log is where you record all the activities that you choose to undertake based on what you've put in the plan, and your progress check is the vehicle to self-assess your progress towards your goal. So this is really how it works, and we'll have a look at each of these elements. Now, in the model and in the framework, these are all linked. So there's some connectivity between the things you log in each of these areas, and they interact with elements in each of those areas. And as I said, these are endorsed. Your plan and your progress checks are endorsed by LCS assessors. So let's look at the detail of the model. So the plan stage is where you put together your A3 development plan, which contains a vision of your future competence as a lead practitioner. You note down your current situation with regard to both your effectiveness and strengths and your gaps and your opportunities. So some reflection on where you are now. You then list your goals and targets for your target condition when you've completed the plan, your future state that you're trying to achieve. And you identify high-level countermeasures to close the gaps between your current situation and your target condition. Now, what we've built within the model are 3 areas: practice, learning, and communication. And the model allows you to identify up to 3 practice, learning, and communication items for you to address as part of your activities. These are labeled P1, 2, and 3, L1, 2, and 3, and C1, 2, and 3. So we've deliberately restricted this to make it practical and realistic. We don't want you to have pages or lists and lists of things you're trying to achieve that clearly are not going to be attainable. So your high-level countermeasures will comprise of various types of activities that you aim to do, you log, and you check and reflect upon. Okay, let's look at the activity log for countermeasures. The idea is that you undertake an activity that links to your plan and you log it in the system soon after they take place. The idea, it captures all your activities that contribute to the achievement of your goals. You decide what is relevant in terms of practice, knowledge, and communication. And what is logged? Well, you list when you did it, what you did, what learnings that you gained from the activity, and any future actions that you're going to take as a result of the activity. And you can also add some attachments to provide some relevancy. It could be a report or an image or something like that. And as I mentioned, each activity is linked to the A3 plan countermeasure. So you will undertake an activity, you say it links to my countermeasure in P1 practice 1. So when you come to review your plan, you can see what you've done to address your particular countermeasure. So the idea is, on the system, you can view all your activities by clicking the activity log in your special dashboard, and you'll see activities range is the most recent at the top, and you can edit an entry and update it. So the activity log is the ongoing element of the cycle in which you'll be constantly adding things in to build up your case for you to achieve the goals in your plan. Okay, the third key element is the progress record when you check and reflect. And the progress record is where you check and reflect on your development based on your actions you've undertaken relating to your countermeasures. So for each learning, practice, and communication improvement countermeasure, you will state the degree of completion at your monthly checkpoint, at your 3 monthly checkpoint. So you make an assessment that's based on the list of activities that relate to a particular countermeasure. So the activities undertaken are listed, and these are the evidence that support your assessment. And you can add notes to support your assessment and provide some context and further explanation. And once you've completed your progress check, you submit it for endorsement from an LCS assessor. So that's how you periodically will progress check on how you're doing in terms of your plan. We're saying normally it's going to be every 3 or 4 months, but if you're a particularly fast cycle with lots of activities, it could be sooner. If you were slower, it could take place at slightly longer intervals. Okay, I've talked about approving and endorsing plans. The idea is that an LCS assessor will approve your A3 plan and endorse your progress checks. They will check it for reasonableness, robustness, smart type activities. It's not meant to be a mentor type of advice. It's to check that what you've produced makes sense. And they'll make some comments when approving and endorsing for you to pick up if there's, say, changes that need to be made. Now, when your cycle is complete, your plan is endorsed and archived, and the idea is you then create a new plan, and you can refer to your previous plan and build on that as a basis for your new plan. I've talked about the web platform. The idea is that we've got a web platform in which the whole system is managed. There's an integrated series of web pages and forms, each of which are linked. We've added strict word limits to the fields to stop those registered spending too much time, and it forces some brevity and succinctness in what you're trying to achieve and what you're trying to say. There's a help section with lots of guides and explainer videos, and this is accessed via the account menu in the membership profile area, in which you have access to your plan, your activity log, and your progress record. Managing your plan within your profile, you have a dashboard in which you can refer to your plan. You can check your last activity. You can see a nominal progress bar of how far you are through your cycle. Any messages about approvals from the assessor and other comments made. So the dashboard, where you can access plans, activity logs, and so forth, simply available from your member profile. As I said, A3 plan activities, notifications, comments, and progress check. Okay, so what about suitability, registration, and so forth? CPD is aimed at CI practitioners employed in organizations or consultants working with clients. So it's people where continuous improvement is a major part of their work. Not necessarily 100%, but certainly an important part of it. The idea is that you apply on an individual basis. And at the moment, those registered for CPD need to be a premium practitioner member with an LCS qualification. Now, how to register for CPD? First of all, you must become a practitioner member. Anyone with an LCS certificate can register for free to become a practitioner member via the website and click the registration button. Once you are a practitioner member, you upgrade to become a premium practitioner member. There's a £55 annual fee for this if you are not part of an accredited organization. If you are a member of an accredited organization employee, this may be available free. So check with your contact there. So once you've got PPM, CPD is included with PPM and you're automatically registered for CPD. And once that happens, when you click into your account, then suddenly A3 plan appears in the menu, and you can click that and start your cycle. Obviously, you need to make sure you understand the process and how it's all done by visiting the help section first, but it's as simple as that. Okay, in summary, we've got, I think, a unique approach in our model, inherently lean. The self-assessment, self-management is important. That is the evidence-based method of assessing your progress. And we endorse it, which I think gives the whole model credibility, and also our multifaceted competency approach, I think, lends strength. Major benefits: it is a mechanism to motivate and direct you along a continuous improvement development path, where competency becomes this proactive activity. And of course, there are tangible elements of registration certificates to display to your peers and your community. The delivery model web platform is easy to use, easy to access, and there's good flow, and we try to use lean thinking principles in its design. Link to your member profile and your digital credentials profile, so easy to access with everything clearly integrated and linked. We've built some flexibility around the needs of the practitioner, so we're not prescriptive in what you do and how you do it. Hopefully, it's a low time commitment once you've done your plan, and it can encompass any range of improvement activities that you wish to undertake. And the time scale to complete is open. We've got some recommendations, but it's flexible based on your own clock speed, if you like, of your continuous professional development activities. Okay, so if you're interested, sign up at www.leancompetencies.org. There's a CPD webpage there. If you're working for an accredited organization, check with your main contact. It's currently being used by a number of accredited organizations who are providing feedback, and we're looking at enhancement and additions, as you would expect, to continue improve it, add value developments, and considering things like an app to support it. And as a special celebration promotion, anyone who registers can have one of our exclusive Lean Learner t-shirts, which are the first three are some quotes from some famous historical characters that we think are very much aligned to continuous learning. So if you sign up, you get a free t-shirt here to impress your friends with your knowledge. Okay, so that's it in terms of this webinar on LCS Continuous Professional Development. Check on the website for further information and get in touch with us if you've got any queries. So thanks very much for viewing this video.